Chapter 27. Let go of the past. Let the poo-poo of your past become the fertilizer for your todays, so that you may build a better tomorrow. Start doing this now. Do it repeatedly until it becomes second nature. It's a form of forgiveness that recognizes all was not well in your past, but says that it's okay today. As I write this book, I relive each and every painful moment of my life. Tears well up in my mind, body, and soul. I become moody and sad. I start smoking again at a furious rate. Revisiting my pain and anger takes a toll on me, but it's worth every bit of uneasiness. I have to let go of the past by choice, but I revisit it so I may share with you the valuable lessons I learned one more time. Look how far you've come, I think, as I create this legacy, my book, for my children and for you. The junk of the past has become wonderful material on which to build a new present and head toward a bright future. Yes, I still have pain, but now it is my friend. When I am ill, it is my early warning system that enables me to take preventative actions. When the weather changes, I feel it in my body and prepare to welcome nature's gift. Pain lets me know I am alive. No longer do I run from the pain of the past, but I bring it into my present, knowing that it has much to teach me at every moment of my life. My daughter is a wonderful teacher. At the age of 9, she said, when I was experiencing the emotional pain of separation and divorce, "Daddy, the changes are over with. My brother and I can go on with our lives and make new friends." It was the simplicity and clarity of her statement that helped me realize my marriage had given me two beautiful gifts, Stephanie and Alan. My past had built a wonderful healing present. My daughter's presence of mind, in addition to her warm and comforting ways, was example enough. My children are a gift I always treasure and learn from. They are perfect examples of my past having a positive effect on my present. Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, gave a wonderful example of letting go of the past. One day he was being interviewed by a newspaper reporter. The reporter, having done his homework, knew Mr. Edison had failed more than 1,000 times to make a light bulb, and he asked Mr. Edison about this. "I learned over 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb," was Mr. Edison's reply. "Your past is a learning experience upon which you grow a new you each day." Exercise. Close your eyes and go back to the time when you were just learning to read. Remember when you started reading how difficult it was to tell letters apart and sound out the words? How it seemed to take forever for you to grasp each word? How at first the pictures interested you more than the words? Maybe the book was about Dick, Jane, and Spot, or Big Bird, or a prince and princess. You struggled at first and possibly cursed, yet today you are reaping the rewards of the struggles of your past as you read the newspaper, a novel, or a book. Now that was an easy exercise. Start applying this thinking to all the events in your past. You can use your imagination and figure out how these events helped you survive and grow as a person. The key is to find out what positive value they added to your life. Burn your finger once, and I'm sure you will be careful in the future not to do it again. Affirmations. Repeat these frequently to yourself throughout the day. My past is the basis for a new improved me today. My mind finds good things of value in all that has happened to me. I have a past that is the foundation for building a better me today. Chapter 28. Abundance versus scarcity. Abundance, having more than enough, is a wonderful thing. There is more than enough in our universe. Unfortunately, most of us feel we do not have enough, which is the scarcity mentality. Accept the idea of abundance into your life, and your life will be enriched. Unconsciously, I struggled with my scarcity mentality for 40 years of life. Only when I understood where this attitude came from could I deal with it. Even now, I occasionally slide back into the mentality of scarcity. When I use my awareness to free myself of thoughts of scarcity, my world is richer. I was struggling at work, in real estate sales, feeling addicted to the money and people contact, but not feeling fulfilled. I was driving my car, and the pleasant tingling feeling I had since age 11 started to happen. I pulled over to the side of the road, closed my eyes, and took some time out. A thought hit me. I came from a poor family, and I had never realized this before. That thought set my direction in life. It was true. We were poor, but I had never known it. I was 16 when my dad, at age 44, moved out of the home his mother owned. I called my mom to confirm this insight. "But you had lots of love," Mom said. She was right. I did have an abundance of love. I understand now why Dad took my sister and me for numerous drives through poorer areas of town. In his way, he was telling us to be thankful for the abundance in our lives. I only wish he were alive today so I could tell him I had all that I needed, and then some. I loved him then, now, and forever. Love is so many things, one of which is the abundance that holds the universal intelligence together. Love is my definition of the universal intelligence, God. I made an equation to show where the scarcity attitude came from, so I could focus on the present and the abundance around us. Scar city plus scare city equals scarcity mentality. This is what it means. Scar city, S-C-A-R, refers to the scars of my past, my childhood. Scare city refers to the hidden fears of not having enough inside me. Add the two together and you get a scarcity mentality. The equation helped me focus on the parts of my past causing those thoughts. I was finally free of them. Children practice scarcity in their homes, at school, and play. What is mine, what is yours, is the schoolyard cry. Children compete for possessions, affection, even love, the most basic of needs. This is reinforced by their need to be accepted by their peers, sometimes at the horrible price of conformity that causes drug use, theft, vandalism, and a host of other problems. Where did my children learn these attitudes and coping mechanisms? I looked in the mirror and saw where? Me. At first, the idea hurt, but once I dealt with my attitude, it became a foundation to build upon. I remember going for a walk with my son when he was 4 years old. He had candles, and whenever he met other children, he would stop and give them one. He shared his world of abundance and was quickly rewarded with acceptance from those he met. Alan loves people, and people love him. Abundance says that there is more than enough in our universe. Alan practices this attitude, and so can you. Share your abundance with others. I was asked to share a special word for a Toastmasters meeting this past December. This helps explain the vocabulary of the speakers. The word I chose was paradigm. The night before, I wrote paradigm on a large sheet of paper to put it on the wall for everyone to see. On my way to the meeting, I realized it was Christmas, and I had a shift in thought, which, incidentally, is what paradigm means. I stopped at a store and got a roll of pennies. I hurried home and put the pennies in a container, which I labeled, "Take 2 pennies." I headed back to the meeting. I was just in time. I got up to make my presentation and told the audience I had originally chosen the word paradigm, but the holiday spirit caused me to have a shift in thought. I went to the blackboard and wrote HOPE. It stood for Happiness of People Expands. I asked each person to take 2 cents and share the abundance with others. I told them how lucky I felt since I was a child whenever I found a lucky penny. Now I wanted to share the abundance I had in my life with the audience. I asked them to share it with others. How? Throw away the pennies in places where others would find them, I said. Now you see how HOPE works any season of the year. Exercise. Get some pennies or nickels. Find a relatively busy place and drop them off. If you really want to see what sharing your abundance does, go somewhere and wait. Watch the delight on a child's or adult's face when they find your coin. It brings pleasure far greater than its worth to both the giver and the recipient. Exercise. This time, find a partner. Tell them you want to demonstrate abundance with them. If they ask you what you mean, explain it to them. Ask them if you can hug them. If they say yes, do it. I bet you will both feel better for having shared your abundance. Share your abundance with those you like and love, and with the world at large today. Affirmations. Repeat these frequently to yourself throughout the day. I live in a world of abundance. I am thankful for all I have and share my abundance with others. I love the abundance of friends, family, and people in my life. Chapter 29. Persistence pays. Persistence is striving to succeed in the face of opposition. Winston Churchill summarized this by saying, never, 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 never give up. This elegant definition of persistence was successfully demonstrated by the British and their allies in World War II. They won against seemingly impossible odds. During my accident and recovery, I never gave up on myself. I discovered persistence comes from within. When I realized the effects of food and lifestyle on my daughter's learning disability and on children in general, I decided her classmates in school should become better educated about healthier choices. I created stories for the children. One was about the Medicine Cabinet for Life kit. Stephanie helped me convert a medicine cabinet into a person complete with arms, legs, face, and hair. Kit was filled with shiny pictures of fruits and vegetables. One of the food characters was the magic toothbrush, Phoebe, commonly known as Fiber. Phoebe explained how some foods clean the inside of the body. It caught the imagination of her classmates. Stephanie and Alan talked about Kit, Phoebe, and the food family for weeks. The following story caught the imagination of all the boys and girls in their class. It was the story of a young child and a yo-yo top called the Yo-Yo-Yo-Yo-Yo-Yo Kid Cal. Keeps on bouncing back. This adventure story inspired a host of comments like, "When is the kid going to Hollywood?" And "I will never give up in something I believe." Pretty remarkable for 7- and 8-year-old children. It did not end in the classroom. Alan and Stephanie kept asking me to tell the story. Finally, I wrote it down so Stephanie could read it to Alan. The Yo-Yo-Yo-Yo-Yo Kid Cal keeps on bouncing back is my gift to all children. Cal is genderless in my rendition of the story. The reason is that both boys and girls must overcome adversities daily, as do you and I. Exercise. Your persistence will be practiced and demonstrated to the children in this exercise. Watch the children show you persistence in action. They are masters of overcoming adversities. Step 1. Read the story to your children or a friend's children. When you finish reading, ask them if they want to draw pictures for it. If they say yes, continue to Step 2. Step 2. Over a few days, write the text on paper, leaving lots of blank space on each page for the children to draw on. I suggest you put each section on a separate page. Let the children fill in the blank spaces any way they want to. It's lots of fun. The Yo-Yo-Yo-Yo-Yo-Yo Kid Cal keeps on bouncing back, as told by Ken to his daughter's 3rd grade class. This is the story of the Yo-Yo-Yo-Yo-Yo Kid. Maybe you know this kid. This kid could be your neighbor, your cousin, your friend, your brother or sister, or this kid could even be you. This amazing tale is about one kid's struggle to overcome the tough things that happen to kids in their daily lives. Cal won the struggle against the Earth's pull. Cal went from crawling to standing, walking, and at last to running. Like a bumblebee, zip, zip, zipping all around, Cal moved around the ground until Uncle Bob and Aunt Lil came for a visit. Cal got a surprise in a little box. Cal giggled and ripped the box open. Inside was a little round wooden thing with a string in the middle. Cal tried to eat it, roll it, bounce it, throw it. Finally, Cal gave it back to Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob laughed and put the string around his finger, holding the wooden thing in his hand. Suddenly, Uncle Bob threw the round wooden thing on a string at the ground. The round wooden thing stopped just before the ground, spinning fast at the end of the string, making a zinging sound. Cal's eyes opened wide with surprise at the dancing disc on the end of the string, making its magical sound. Giggles of glee were heard, and everyone joined in Cal's delight. Auntie Lil said, "Cal, it's a yo-yo." In an up-and-down voice for all to hear, Cal said, "Yo, yo, 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 yo." Uncle Bob put the string on Cal's finger. Cal threw the yo-yo to the ground, and it went kerplunk. Cal looked sadly at the yo-yo as it lay on the ground. Aunt Lily said, "Cal, when you're as tall as the red fire hydrant over there on the grass, the yo-yo will not go kerplunk anymore. It will dance in the air at the end of the string, going zing, zing, zinging just for you." Mommy, Daddy, Uncle Bob, and Aunt Lil sat on chairs on the porch, talking and drinking water. Meanwhile, Cal walked over to the red fire hydrant, holding the yo-yo in one hand, and climbed up the hydrant to the top. Cal threw the yo-yo to the ground. It went kerplunk. Mommy, Daddy, Uncle Bob, and Aunt Lil ran to get Cal off the fire hydrant. Daddy said, "Cal, when you're big enough to ride a two-wheel bicycle, I will give you back your yo-yo top." Cal grew and grew and grew up a lot. One day, Daddy and Mommy got him a big bike with training wheels on it. Cal looked at the bike and asked, "Where's my yo-yo that comes with my bike?" Mommy held the bike while Cal sat on it and waited for his dad to return with the yo-yo. Dad returned with the yo-yo. He took Cal's hand and tied the yo-yo string around Cal's finger and helped hold the bike. Cal threw the yo-yo to the ground and it went kerplunk. Mommy and Daddy said, "When you grow a little more, the yo-yo will work. Put it in your room until then." Cal ran to the bedroom and hid the yo-yo in a drawer full of socks. Then Cal ran back outside to play. The days passed and became months. Cal grew bigger and bigger. Then one day, while riding the bike up and down, up and down, up and down grassy hills, Cal fell onto the grass and rolled down the hill. Cal remembered the yo-yo rolling on the ground, quickly got up and pedaled the bike home. Cal ran to the sock drawer, got the yo-yo, and ran outside. Cal tied the string onto a finger, threw the yo-yo to the ground, and it danced in the air, going zzz, zinging all around. Surprised, Cal pulled up the hand with the yo-yo string on it. A shock of surprise and giggles of delight came from Cal as the magic dancing yo-yo bounced back up. Mommy and Daddy saw what happened, began to applaud and said, "Cal, you have done it. We knew you could when the time was right. We are proud of you never giving up." So ends the beginning of this first adventure of Cal the Kid, also known as the Yo-Yo, Yo-Yo, Yo-Yo Kid, because Cal never, 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 never gives up. Congratulations! You persisted in listening to the story. Now share it with others. Affirmations. Repeat these frequently to yourself throughout the day. I will never, 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 never give up in what I believe. I believe I can succeed at whatever I want to. I will persist and take into action the feelings of others in all I do. Chapter 30. All knowledge exists. This is the gift of the universal intelligence, God. All knowledge exists. What creates difficulties is our inability to uncover or accept into our conscious awareness this information. My awareness expanded once I willingly accepted the abundance of the universal intelligence, God, into my life. Once I unconditionally accepted God, my feelings of wholeness came to fruition. I was driving my 5-year-old son to his baseball game when he asked me, "Daddy, what is that building?" I saw a beautiful house of God in the direction he pointed. I pondered a moment and said, "Son, that is a building people make so that those who feel the need to go to a place for prayer have one." He said. The answer was not complete enough for him, so I continued. I believe that God's house of worship is nature, the trees, birds, earth, sky, and stars. Where do you think God is? I asked. In my heart, Alan replied with the wisdom of a 5-year-old in tune with his world. I felt a warm tingle inside. At the time, his answer seemed complete to me. I recalled that during my struggles with pain, I found the greatest comfort when I acknowledged that God existed. I did not have scientific proof of this universal intelligence, God, just the miracle of faith. This devotion and awareness brought a tingling to my body. The more I thought about God, the stronger the tingling became until it was an automatic happening within me. I was comforted by my belief in God. I heard that Alcoholics Anonymous and various groups that embraced the organization's 12-step program had enjoyed great success. A key was unconditional acceptance of God. Psychiatrists deal daily with alcoholics, yet are not as successful as Alcoholics Anonymous. My curiosity was aroused. The 12-step program was a very successful approach that validated my thoughts about the power of faith in the universal intelligence. I had stumbled upon this belief during my recovery from my accident. It worked for me. The feelings I was confronted with made the most sense when I walked in conservation areas or parks lush with vegetation. I felt great inner peace and harmony, a sense of oneness with the universe. The distractions of society were banished from my mind. I am not observant in the traditional sense of the word. I chose to follow my own path. This path is there for those who unconditionally accept God into their lives. I became a spiritual individual, awakened to this awareness during my human experience. I explained the riches of this experience as learning to live in awe of the present. I let my senses and intuitions consciously become a part of my life. I accepted as truth that God is always there. All things fell into place when I realized that I am in the heart of God. My clarity and sense of purpose were heightened. Life took on a special meaning. It was a gift, a learning experience that would get me to the next point on the plane of my spiritual journey. At last, I felt complete inner satisfaction, the doubts banished, my fears put aside. The universal intelligence had supplied humanity with all it needed to thrive. It was humanity's mission to uncover this. I sought answers by going back to the basics, learning to listen to my mind, body, and soul. The more closely I listened, the greater inner peace I experienced. I realized that modern science and society needed help. My children were constantly becoming ill. The healing within was malfunctioning. I perceived the weakness of our last century as we embraced intrusive interventionalist models. Our bodies, minds, and souls could not adapt quickly enough, and our children were paying a high price. Willingly, we pursued convenience, destroying God's gift, our world, in the name of progress. Balance had to be restored. We were destroying God's medicine cabinet for life, our forests, water, the earth we grow our food in. Humanity was not evolving fast enough to cope with the changes. I realized that progress in modern times meant immediate satisfaction of all wants and needs. This is not possible. It took the crisis of my daughter's learning disability to make me realize there had to be a better way. Nature's abundance of riches was being ignored. I theorized that the increasing numbers of problems our children suffered, asthma, allergies, and learning disabilities, too many to mention, was due to their bodies' sensitivity and inability to adapt. It shook me profoundly when I realized we were killing our children's quality of life. My theory is that children are suffering from toxic sensitivity to the man-made world. I struggled with this knowledge until the universal intelligence reminded me that my answer lay in going back to basics. God's home is a natural world of miracles. Stephanie no longer needed medication once she started taking more walks, eating a healthier diet, and learning to keep focused. The drugs had stabilized her. It was up to us to give her body and mind time to heal. By age 9, there were many positive changes in her personality, and she enjoyed many more achievements. God's message of back to basics had been received, applied, and worked. All knowledge exists. It was my stubbornness that prevented its working for my benefit sooner. I reawakened to this lesson of my past, to trust the mind-body-soul connection with which the universal intelligence wisely endowed me. It enabled me to go farther along my spiritual path to fulfillment. Exercise. Put aside an hour for yourself. Leave the distractions of modern society. Go for a walk and savor God's gift to humanity, nature. Be embraced by its beauty. Be in awe of its wonder as you commune with nature and the universal intelligence. Do this as often as possible. The more often you do it, the more in tune with your universe you will become. Exercise. If you cannot leave your home, plan a time for yourself. Fill the tub with water at a comfortable temperature. Put on some gentle music that masks any outside noise. It could be the sounds of nature, like loons or whales, or sounds of silence that you more clearly hear when you close your eyes. Get into the tub and savor its warmth. Say to yourself, "All is well in my world." Close your eyes and let your thoughts and feelings flow freely. Gently, let your mind, body, and soul drift as they did in your mother's womb. When you feel in touch with your inner self and ready to break the magic of the moment, do so, with the knowledge that all is well. Affirmations. Repeat these frequently to yourself throughout the day. All knowledge exists, and I wish to become aware of this. I enjoy the knowledge gained from my human experience. The answers lie within me and are found all around me. Thank you, God. Chapter 31. Accept anger into your life. Anger is extreme distress and hostile feelings which usually surface as a result of hurt or oppression. This is a textbook definition. In fact, anger is hell. Nearly dying made me angry, but the victimization and dysfunctional relationships that evolved from that incident got me really angry. So angry that it was difficult and impossible at times even to communicate my feelings to others. Other people did not know how to deal with my anger, and I assumed they had not learned how to deal with their anger. Their turning away from me was a passive form of opposition to my anger, which just made things worse. I got angrier and angrier. Eventually, all this anger turned inward, and I became depressed. Depression turned into anxiety, and anxiety caused more depression. The cycle seemed never-ending. I discovered I dealt with anger by copying the models from my childhood. My dad dealt with his extreme frustration by becoming angry and yelling. For him, it was a release. For me, it was the dysfunctional way I learned to deal with my anger. Fortunately, I survived and broke free from this vicious cycle. I took a series of seminars with others who were angry. I discovered triggers that made me angry. During these groups, I was repeatedly asked, "Why are you here? Are you angry?" When I signed up for the group, I was angry, but I made a commitment to myself to deal with my anger. I learned how to accept anger into my life and understood that it was my problem. Finally, the deep inside me healing began. I made a list of things that got me angry. It was very extensive. Then I chose the top 3 triggers that set me off and imagined positive ways to deal with each of them before they happened. I used to get angry when someone lectured me about smoking. I was upset by these uninvited intrusions into my space that I perceived curbed my freedom. Intellectually, I agreed that smoking is bad. Emotionally, I rebelled against this opposition by yelling or shutting people out. My decision led me to a fascinating discovery. People were right. Smoking hurt me. Finally, I intellectually and emotionally accepted this. I made a conscious choice to keep smoking until I was ready to quit. I told others of my decision. I acknowledged their concerns by saying, "Thank you for caring." Using these 2 strategies, I was able to deal with a situation that angered me. I stopped trying to defend the behavior. I acknowledged its negative impact and started dealing positively with it. Those who kept imposing their opinions on me accepted my position. I no longer got angry. Taking the trigger for my anger and deciding beforehand what to do had an added bonus. I became less stressed and could stop smoking for weeks and months at a time. The need to smoke started decreasing. I had learned to accept my anger into my life and deal with it. When I began writing this book, I decided to start smoking again. I have only one fully functioning lung, and I knew it was not a wise decision. The choice I made was my way of beating up on myself as I relived the details of my near-death pain and suffering. All the rationalization in the world never made a bad choice better. Yet consciously choosing to smoke helped me deal with the feelings I revisited during the writing. Next week, I'm quitting again. I hope forever, since I no longer let anger and other negative emotions unconsciously trigger my reactions. Anger takes many forms, some subtle, some not. I learned to use my anger to help promote my healing. My children used to yell, scream, kick, hit. The list of ways they dealt with anger was endless. I applied the trigger approach in a variety of ways. First, I asked them to take time out by themselves, something I did for myself when I got angry. This gave them the opportunity to settle down emotionally. I asked them to think of 2 better ways they could deal with the situation that angered them while they took their time alone. When they were ready, they told me their better ways of dealing with their anger. Thinking of positive outcomes before bad situations recur makes them valuable learning experiences. I proudly say I have a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old who are learning a variety of coping skills to deal with difficult times. This is part of my legacy to them. The applications of those ideas reach far beyond anger. I have seen people get angry over returning merchandise to stores. The price they pay in terms of unnecessary stress and usually a failure to achieve the objective of getting satisfaction carries over into other parts of their lives. The forcefulness anger promotes destroys the quality of life. Someone returning an obviously used item approached the clerk in such a charming way that the clerk accepted it as a return. They told the clerk the item had been worn, apologized for bringing it back, and told the clerk they knew the store usually sold better quality merchandise than the item they had bought. The customer asked the clerk to bring the merchandise to the store owner's attention and give them a receipt for it, so they could get it back once it had been examined by the store owner. You should have seen the flabbergasted look on the clerk's face. She replied that she did not want to inconvenience a good customer like him any further, then proceeded to give the customer a credit note for the goods. Everyone was happy. I believe this customer will return to the store and, ultimately, the store owner will be rewarded many times over. Cynics might say the customer will take advantage of the clerk and store again. They might be right. Next time a situation occurs where you can either yell or charm the clerk, practice preventative anger management and use charm. See the results when you use charm and sincerity. Pat yourself on the back for a job well done. Your children will learn from this, and more important, you will be happier in the long run, having enhanced the quality of your life. Exercise. Find a quiet place. Get comfortable. Think of something that makes you angry. Kids, spouse, politics, paycheck, whatever triggers your anger, and picture it in your mind. Now picture a different outcome. Let's say it's your spouse criticizing you that ticks you off. Next time, picture yourself thanking them for criticizing you. Acknowledge their right to feel and say what they wish. Accept this negative into your life and deal with it. Learn from it. You will live a better and happier life. Affirmations. Repeat these frequently to yourself throughout the day. I accept anger into my life and learn from it. I choose not to be angry, but I think of positive outcomes to opposition. I am not angry. I am happier for dealing with my anger in positive ways. Chapter 32. The Healing Touch. The word healing means to become healthy or well again. It refers to the process of mending or curing a condition that is unhealthy to your well-being. The word touch means coming into contact with something either directly or at a distance. When you combine the two, you get the healing touch. During my recovery, I went to a masseuse and a lady of the night to receive the healing touch. This reaffirmed my body's wholeness to me by allowing me to feel human contact without hidden agendas. Unconditional contact, or contact where the boundaries were clearly defined, allowed me to reunite with my body, mind, and soul. Physical touch enabled my body to be a vehicle for reuniting my body-mind-soul connection. This awareness created a new perception of my world. I realized that the old model of the brain, therefore my mind, being in my body, was a dysfunctional model. In truth, my body was in my mind. The power of the mind to guide and control my body and thoughts became evident to me. The healing touch helped me realize that the body is in the mind. When either of my children are distressed, if they allow me to, I hug them. More important, I hug them whenever I can, no matter their state. Before they go to bed, When we greet each other, the opportunities for hugging are boundless. This is more comforting to them and me than all the words I can say. I noticed how quickly, as babies, they quieted when held and cuddled. Last year, my widowed mother became a volunteer cuddler at the local hospital. At age 65, she was a surrogate mother. The premature babies benefited immensely. Mum benefited, as it had been 18 years since my dad had passed away, and to my knowledge, this lovely woman had not bonded with anyone else since her husband's death. The medical system was realizing the healing power of touch. Science and medicine are discovering the curative effects of touch. Studies indicate some people have greater healing touch powers than others. In a double-blind study of people with recently broken bones, those who received the healing touch from people adept at it healed more quickly. The power of touch is becoming more evident each day. Whenever someone I know is in mourning, if they allow me, I embrace them. A good hug does more than any words I could say. The awareness of the power of the healing touch helped me create my personal guidelines for daily hugs. Hugs are vitamins for the mind-body-soul connection. They add quality to my life. These are my requirements. They vary by person. You may have a different set of needs. Discover them. Ken's Daily Hug Chart. 3 hugs a day for a minimal sustenance of self. It leaves you thirsty. 6 hugs a day for nurturing. You feel quenched but still unsatisfied. 9 hugs a day for regular growth. Feels good. 12 plus hugs a day for inner, outer, and spiritual growth. It stores some away for those occasional hugging lapses. Your mind, body, soul will know this. Exercise. Make your own daily hug chart. Start with 1 hug a day and build your own guidelines for sustenance, nurturing, growth, and supergrowth bank-it-away purposes. Remember to get permission beforehand from those you wish to hug and be hugged by. Exercise. If no one is nearby, wrap your arms around yourself and give yourself a big hug. Continue until you feel satisfied and nurtured. Exercise. Upon greeting friends, ask their permission to share a hug. Once received, go for it. Affirmations. Repeat these frequently to yourself throughout the day. I love to hug and be hugged. I feel the power of the healing touch. When I ask for and get permission to hug and be hugged, I feel great.